Welcome to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. Fort Worth, Texas, home of one of 3 unbeatens in college football now, because last week they were involved in one of the wildest plays you will ever see. Third down, another run. DeMercado.
Got to get on the field.
Yeah, it got a hustle here.
Wow.
A run, and now it's a total scramble. Emergency mode for the unbeaten Horned Frogs. Hypno-Toad in a hurry. Griffin Kell for the win. TCU is undefeated still.
Wow!
Unreal!
I am shaking. I can't believe what Sonny Dykes just did.
Neither could the college football world, but practice makes perfect, and TCU very likely will go to number 3 if the Horned Frogs win today. And we'll see what that challenge provides with Iowa State in town here in Fort Worth. And we thank you for joining us. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams downstairs. The door is wide open for TCU and its quarterback, Max Duggan.
It sure is. And college football was crazy a week ago, and it's just as crazy on this Saturday as you look at the top 10 board and the carnage already. And I'll tell you, Max Duggan, that door and that flight to New York City, it's available to you. It's open to you. And frankly, if there is a player that can handle this stage emotionally, come back from that emotional win a week ago, it's this senior. He's battle-tested. He's gritty. He's tough. And he has elevated his teammates to places none of them have been before. Now, the challenge, as you said, this Iowa State team, he's faced them 3 times, and he's yet to beat them.
They are the best defense in the Big 12, Brock.
They've only faced TCU 2 top 55 defenses. The other was Kansas State, and it's this crew right here. It is good on good. It's the best, most explosive offense in this conference and one in the country versus the best defense, no question about it, in the Big 12 and Matt Campbell Cyclones.
Max Duggan's ready to roll. Iowa State won the toss, and they will give the ball to the Horned Frogs. It is chilly, it is raw, it has drizzled all morning, it rained all night last night, and we will see what this track has in store for unbeaten TCU. You mentioned it, Clemson has lost. You just watched Michigan throttle Ohio State, and we are off and running in Fort Worth with one of 3 unbeatens remaining, and Shadrack Banks, the linebacker, on the return to set up Max Duggan. You all know the story. He lost his starting job in camp. He got it back because of injury. And now we're talking Heisman about the kid. And the word in 5 letters, all caps, is T-O-U-G-H. So look, Sonny Dykes about Max Duggan said he is the guy who makes everybody around him believe they're going to win. That's what he did last week against the Baylor Bears in that final drive with so many guys injured, including this man, Kendre Miller, one of the top running backs in the Big 12, is back in the lineup today. And this starting lineup is the offensive line beginning at Wes Harris, the right guard, who is very happy they're wearing purple. He said if they wore white, he would look like the Michelin Man because of how much he ate on Thanksgiving. Quentin Johnston is back as well, their big play wide receiver who's been dealing with an ankle injury for the past month or so. 2nd down and 7 for Duggan. He throws, spinning it out wide, and that is Savion Williams for a couple of yards against this top Iowa State defense, tops in the Big 12. Will McDonald IV tied for the all-time sack lead in Big 12 history. Orion Vance, the important senior, in the middle of that 3 linebacker set. And then Anthony Johnson Jr. makes another start, his 54th, the most in Big 12 history. On 3rd down and 5, it's Duggan out of the backfield. 1st down for the freshman Battle. Across midfield, Trent Battle.
Well, you rarely see this against one of the best 3rd down defenses in the country, and this is just a bust, a miscommunication. Excellent concept from Garrett Riley to run the shallow crosses across the field. And the freshman running back is, again, you just don't see Iowa State bust like that TCU advantage. Big conversion here on the opening drive.
We have not seen Quentin Johnston to this point touch a ball or make his way onto the field. We expect to see him in something of a pitch count today, and it's a delayed draw, and it's Kendre Miller busting into the secondary for a TCU first down. And for more on those TCU injuries, here's Allison.
Well, Jason, you mentioned Quentin Johnston hasn't seen the field quite yet, but he told me he does expect to play even though he's not 100%. He's been dealing with an ankle injury since the West Virginia game. He said it doesn't affect his straightaway speed, but it does become an issue when he looks to cut or push off it. So every week, it's been a balancing act between finding enough reps in practice, but also staying off it, trying to get it healthy. He's even wearing a boot a lot of times, so we'll see how it affects him today.
Allison, thank you. We'll see if Duggan gets his pass off. He does to the outside, and once again, Kendre Miller, and you think they're happy to have him back?
One of the most underrated skill players in this conference. Quentin gets a lot of attention. Xavier Hutchinson on the other side, a lot of attention. Certainly Bijan and Deuce Vaughn. But bang for the buck, value play this season. I don't think there's been a better runner than Kendre Miller, and what he's done to lead to the explosive plays that often follow.
12 straight games with a rushing touchdown for Kendre Miller, and now this is Amari DiMercato on the run for a couple of yards, and part of his role is to help keep Kendre Miller fresh for the end of the year.
That's a nice weapon to have as a veteran player, 6 touchdowns himself, so smart. Master's degree already, just a bright guy that understands how to play the game. I'll say this too, Jason, coming off all that emotion from a week ago, this is a terrific start.
As we talked about it during the week, there is a come down that you have to have at some point. You have to land back on your feet, and TCU has so far. That's a sliding grab for Jorcorius Spivey, and it's third down.
I don't know if the announcers have come back off that emotional high from a week ago.
Again, one of the wildest plays and endings you will ever see, but Sonny Dykes believed in his kicker. He believed in their situational awareness. And everybody got on the field in the right spot because they were used to practicing that play every Thursday, as he told Bruce Feldman after the game. Third down, it's a run, and it's Kendre Miller, who's very good at breaking tackles, but he's stood up by Kendall Jackson getting the start today for Iowa State, and it's fourth down.
And this is just what Iowa State does defensively, man. Just look at the pit here. They just muddy it up, get a body on a body. You can see pretty decent push, but the minute you spin out, there is Kendall Jackson making the start for Colby Reeder today. And it's really what this Iowa State defense does better than anything else.
What do you think of this call to go for it on 4th and 2?
Well, I would love a hard count first and foremost to see if I can get a freebie.
So look to the sideline. 5 to snap it.
Watch Duggan's legs.
They do snap it. It's play action. He goes over the top to the end zone and a touchdown, Spivey. TCU has belief to the moon right now.
What do I think of this call? I think it's about as good as it gets from Garrett Riley. Look at the big tight end Spivey. He's going to come in and sell block. Block, 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 right? Nope. Right behind you. And again, if you're a head coach, is Sonny Dykes an experienced guy? How do I make sure my team is tuned up? How do I make sure they're ready to go? How do I make sure they flushed last week and put it behind them and go attack? Be aggressive just like that.
Sonny Dykes said to us the thing that scared him the most was simply the odds of this continuing, right? The good fortune they've had. Aggressive does the trick. We'll take it a break with our Progressive Insurance Game Flow. All of last year, he has played something of a supporting role for the wide receivers this year, but we saw more of him last week, and he was wide open there.
That's what championship teams do this time of year. You just elevate. And those backups begin all the work all season long, and when their number is called and their opportunity knocks, they take advantage.
Jalen Knoll on the return for Iowa State, suddenly down 7 already, and he ends up hitting the deck at the 20-yard line. Another Iowa kid, Max Duggan from the state of Iowa. Hunter Deckers from Haywarden, Iowa on the western side as well. 18 games in his career, most of it this season, and the 13 interceptions this year as he figures out how to emotionally deal with and how to build upon mistakes rather than use them to take him down a notch. He is a very talented kid. He was the all-everything at his high school and a huge stage here.
And too much has been on his shoulders, frankly, as a young quarterback.
He runs and he is hit and dropped. Travius Hodges Tomlinson spikes him down. It's a loss of 4. And here are the starting lineups. Trevor Downing is the center, getting his 38th start in Iowa State colors in his career. He's a captain. Xavier Hutchinson has 105 catches this year, at least 8 in every game.
And try finding him because they move him around in formations, motion, shifts all game long.
It's a throw for Deckers. He's got the tight end Easton Dean, who's out of bounds across the 25. And this TCU defense that had a great game against Texas 2 weeks ago, looking for a bounce back from a pretty big Baylor offensive effort. Dylan Horton, the former secondary player in high school, is a key. D. Winters, the captain at the linebacker spot, so agile with 6.5 sacks and a lot of safeties and corners on the field, including LaDainian's nephew, Travius Hodges Tomlinson. Deckers is hit and dropped. Jamoy Hodge had a free run to demolish him.
And this is where these 2-3-down defenses are a little different because TCU doesn't mess around. And they believe they got a speed advantage today, and they're going to bring pressure at the freshman. Man-to-man behind it, and that is 245 pounds of purple pain that hits the freshman QB right in the mouth.
Will certainly not stabilize him as this punt in the air and rolling to Gunnar Henderson, where he lets it ripple to the 29-yard line. TCU gets it back, and if Max Duggan is making a case for himself and his team, he'll have a second touch coming up next with a 7-0 lead on Thanksgiving weekend. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. Time now for our Adventure Ahead, sponsored by Royal Caribbean.
Well, you're seeing it right away. TCU is going to be aggressive. Huge call on 4th down. And for Iowa State, they've got to limit the explosive plays. Advantage TCU on the opener.
Kendre Miller on the run. Anything more to say about being aggressive?
If you'd like me to do the cheer I did last night in our meeting, I will not do that for the national television audience.
Oh, wow.
They deserve better.
I thought for sure it was going to happen. But that was the word that Garrett Riley used quite a bit in our meeting.
Continually. And it probably shouldn't have been a surprise for us to see them take a shot on 4th down.
Duggan on the throw, far side, and Savion Williams. Will be 3rd down short coming up.
There's a good look at Garrett Riley. Iowa State staff was fun talking to them. They're like, man, watching him on tape. He walks like Lincoln, he stands like Lincoln, and he's certainly been calling games like his big brother Lincoln Riley has this season, as those two have had incredible success.
That's the one that got me, was that he stands like Lincoln. This is a run on 3rd down, and you see what kind of a weapon Kendre Miller can really be. It's a jagged cut right there.
Yeah, and he plays off of this O-line. And of all the people that have been showered with praise and credit, starts with the head coach and quarterback, these big men have not gotten enough. Because likewise, Iowa State said, why is TCU doing this season? We've played these guys. We've seen a number of these starters, but they're bigger, they're faster, and they're stronger than they've ever been.
1st down, Kendre Miller trying to get to the outside, and man, can he break a tackle or 2 or 3.
And off Kendre Miller.
57 of those coming into the game, as you can see him getting up just a little slower. And this is why Iowa State's #1 across the board. Well, not that. They usually make those tackles. That is what they have done, but you do see the pursuit. You do see the effort. Gary Vaughn, sideline to sideline linebacker. This Kendre is going to find himself under the tent there.
So Miller goes off as he did late last week. Duggan to throw. And a little bit too much for Gunnar Henderson, who had a big drive about halfway through that Baylor game with 2 catches, including a touchdown.
Good coverage there by the youngster Freeler on the back end of that. Again, that's a little more of Darius Davis over the course of the year. So I think with both Davis and Johnston, it's going to be a little feeling out process. They're not going to get the amount of volume they've gotten over the course of the season as you see Freeler, the sophomore out of Colorado. A bunch of speed, stride for stride with Henderson.
Saw him with 15 tackles against Clemson last year in the Cheez-It Bowl. Throw for Duggan. He's got it. And it's a first down and then some for the TCU Horned Frogs. It's Conwright on the catch.
Well, remember the first third down went to the running back. Okay, similar concept. These are just crossing routes. Again, something you will see with USC quite a bit. Here, Riley does a wonderful job. 2 third-down conversions where a lot of crossers have gotten in the way.
A lot of time. The helmet was actually closest to Max Duggan. He flips it out wide for DeMercado. Rarely do you see pressure coming from a teammate's helmet, but that's what happened on that play with a marker in as well.
I think Joey Peterson, the end, caused that helmet to pop off.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Number 52, defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down. Number 78 for TCU can stay in the game.
Yeah, that's the big left guard, the Outland candidate, Avila. And when you're down 100 pounds, as Peterson is, you're just trying to do anything you possibly can to scratch and claw and rip. And that time it's the helmet off of the massive, dominant left guard.
Yeah, you're right. This offensive line, which has been together all season long, has been phenomenal. DeMercado got a crease. And Freeler again with the stop. So 7 teams around the FBS, in terms of Power 5 teams, have had the same offensive line in every game. It's a big reason TCU's still undefeated.
Not many as experienced as this crew.
Duggan sees the pocket break down. Now he rips it out wide, and it's incomplete for Darius Davis.
That's a pretty rare miss, and Max knows it. That big O-line is giving him ample time. They're getting good push. We've seen a bunch of counter from them. Max doesn't miss too many of those over the course of this season.
He's already gotten more touchdown passes this year than his last 2 years combined. Just a massive improvement this year for that young man from Council Bluffs, Iowa. Third down, Duggan fields the breakdown, over the middle, incomplete. Darius Davis was the target.
That's a good job. You highlighted Will McDonald. He's right over here. He's one of the best to ever do it in the conference. And it's his pressure right here, just his relentless motor that gets in the face of Duggan, causes him to slide. And they said they were going to push the ball vertically. Iowa State tries to defend you in such a manner with so many numbers to take away that downfield threat. It's another missed opportunity.
Didn't really know that TCU did casual field goals, but here it is with Griffin Kell to slice it on through. That was comfortable, huh? 10-0 TCU. Xavier Hutchinson hasn't seen the ball yet, but if Iowa State's got an upset in mind, he's going to have to. 10-0 TCU with the lead over Matt Campbell's Iowa State Cyclones, who have 6 losses by 1 score this year. And we asked Matt Campbell this week, how many of these games, which one of these games did you really feel like you were going to win? And he said every one of them. Every time I felt like we had it, and it just didn't happen for us at the finish line. And part of it is they just don't have Breece Hall in the backfield.
Either do the Jets, and I think both programs have felt that loss. 120th in the country in yards per rush without Breece Hall, and he is just, I mean, he just was the eraser. Saw Tom Manning down on the field before the game, and you can ask Zach Robinson and those Jets, what life has been without that guy. He's on his way to Rookie of the Year. And he just erases issues. He erases problems on the O-line. He makes quarterbacks' jobs easier, and there's no question Matt Campbell is missing him.
Here's a pitch, and it goes to Cartavius Norton, the freshman, who's in because of the injury a couple of weeks ago to Jirel Brock. I doubt Breece Hall would have fixed all of the Jets' problems. Maybe one or two would have lingered.
Maybe I could have got Zach's name right. Zach Wilson.
Oh, that's all right.
Apologize. Zach and Robinson.
I think everybody's going to be okay. They knew what you were talking about. Gain of 2. Jalen Knoll in the backfield. Hunter Deckers down the middle of the field a little bit too much. That's a miss. He had Knoll.
He sure did. And again, it's going to be some of the man-to-man coverage he's going to see. Sometimes you play these 3 down fronts and you think, gosh, you know, am I going to be able to push the ball down the field? But against these guys, the Horned Frogs, you'll get chances like that. That's one you got to put between the 1 and 3 because Knoll could still be running.
Wonder what the wind does in this stadium too. It has been a windy couple of days here in Fort Worth. That ball sailed on him a little bit. 3rd and 8. Deckers, that's complete. It is Knoll, and he's going nowhere. Sonny Dykes couldn't have asked for a better start.
No, and you sometimes wonder on a wet day like this and windy and everything else, TCU is built for speed. Sonny Dykes said that to us, and Deckers is feeling it. The fastest team that Sonny has ever had, the fastest team that freshman running back or quarterback's ever looked at. And you wondered if these conditions would slow the team down. Definitively, no.
The defense is flying around for sure. Perkins gets it away. It's Gunnar Henderson breaking a tackle or two. And he is across midfield and past the 45. TCU on a short field trying to make an exclamation mark out of a regular season finale. Max Duggan and his family, his father Jim, who coached him in high school, his mom Deb, his siblings Sam and Megan, and so many seniors who never expected to go through a coaching change here at TCU with the couple decades-long tenure of Gary Patterson. The foundation was there, and the belief is as well now for this undefeated TCU team, and Kendre Miller gets about 2.5 yards out of absolutely nothing.
This is a massive, massive drive for Iowa State defensively. They just do not have the offense, have not had it all year. Every game has been a grind and a one-score game because of this crew, and they cannot afford to go down 17. You got to rise up right here on a short field and make sure you get yourself off the field if you're Iowa State.
Max Duggan just does not turn the ball over very much. Had his 3rd interception of the year last week. Now he snaps off a laser down the middle for his tight end, Jared Wiley. And he was down, so it is first down TCU.
Early in the field is a catch, and the runner was down before losing possession.
I mean, this looked like practice yesterday. There is nobody that can even breathe on Max Duggan because those 5 swallow the 3-man rush. And then it's which big body do I want to target? Is it Spivey? Is it Wiley? Is it Williams? You said the foundation was here. Gary Patterson built the foundation. So much talent. And Max Duggan and Sonny have run with it.
Kendre Miller. Somebody got a hand on him. That doesn't matter very much. He's down the sideline and dragging Ames into the end zone. You said off the top of the show last week that Kendre Miller was one of the major keys to this team. They did it without him late last week, but they look different with him.
They sure do. They are, they're back to form in the first 8 or 9 weeks where I don't know how you defend this team. Run, pass, explosion, offensive line. And this is the same concept now about 6 different times. You have seen blocking down, pulling. But watch this guy. Watch a redshirt freshman. I haven't seen him do this block all season long. Look at Battle. Right down the field and in your face and to the ground as well. Mason Chambers goes. This is a proud defense, Jason.
Yep.
I mean, this is #1 scoring, #1 rushing, #1 passing, #1 total defense in this Big 12. And right now, through 3 drives, they have been physically dominated.
So it's 13 straight games with fewer than 400 yards allowed for Iowa State. TCU's at $155. The last 5 years, Iowa State has been top 3 in the Big 12 in scoring defense. So it's not only this year. This is a program that's foundationally got a bedrock of defense and close games, and it's neither right now.
Yeah, Matt Campbell right now has got to be like, whew. I knew my offense may struggle in here, but my defense travels and has traveled every season, really since that first year, which is about the only season that looks anything close to the record he's sitting on right now. And that man's not expressing it, Sonny Dykes, but I guarantee you internally, he is saying to himself, once again, my team is showing why they are a college football playoff contender.
Max Duggan, a big part of that reason. And downstairs to Allison.
You guys mentioned it is senior day for TCU, and I got a chance to chat with Max Duggan's parents, Jim and Deb. And Deb said she's just so proud of how Max has persevered during his time here at TCU. Guys, you know he's been through a lot on and off the field. A few years ago, a heart condition from birth was discovered. He had to have heart surgery and a subsequent surgery when clots developed after that. She said it was such a scary time. It would have been absolutely devastating for him not to be able to get back here and play this for this team, for this university he loves so much. And she said he never thought about leaving TCU. Through all the ups and downs, this was his university. He is loyal to a fault. And both of them just very emotional, reflecting on Max's career. Jim, his high school coach, his dad, he's a tough guy, but when I asked him what he's most proud of,
maybe this pick for TCU will get them out of their seats as well. Intercepted by Bradford for a touchdown for the Horned Frogs.
Hey, college football committee voters. TCU's got a little story they're writing for you today.
TCU will make you have a lot of heated conversations on your sideline with the way they have come back in games this year. Doesn't look like they're going to need a comeback today.
Well, here's one of their seniors just taking advantage of the freshman quarterback, right? Little misdirection, what Baylor did so well a week ago. But Deckers doesn't see Bradford. That now his 14th interception of the season. And I was telling you during the last break, Jason, you can just see the young freshman's eyes right now. This defense, Bradford and company, has got his head spinning. He's looking left, he's looking right. Not getting the ball out in rhythm and on time. And late over the middle, back behind you, that is a recipe for disaster, and TCU makes him pay.
And you see it from Hunter Deckers, right? There is this feeling when you show up in college and you've come from a small town where you are the guy. That is self-belief that's really important. But when it's challenged and when it's threatened and when there's resistance to it, it's a different feeling, isn't it?
Well, Allison just hit on it with the guy on the other side. And all the adversity for that West Iowa QB, Max Duggan, and all the fiber that was built and the competitive grit and will. It's hard to walk through those fires, but you come out better on the other end. And right now, Deckers is just being burned
by a TCU team that now is in the neighborhood of the college football playoff establishment. 5 wins against ranked teams, just swallowing up Kansas. We got Dragonflies of all sorts of colors. Oklahoma State in the orange. That was a close win. Kansas State from 18 down. The Texas Longhorns, very hasty, 17-10. And with Clemson losing and Tennessee losing and Alabama, the elephant, getting kicked out of the establishment, TCU has just put its foot down and thrown everybody out of the way, and it's time to dance. Does that basically cover it? I feel like that's the entire season for TCU.
Like you just did that at the speed of the field goal a week ago.
Yeah, look, you have to learn and you get better on a week-to-week basis.
Hypno Benetti right there.
Okay. Yeah, don't look directly into those eyes. 2nd and 5 for Iowa State, and now look, it's what are you made of for the Cyclones?
That's right. And Sonny Dykes all the while. Look at him. He is just calm and cool and collected and has so much belief in this personnel right now.
Deckers, quick throw. They finally do get it out wide for Hutchinson, and he is collapsed upon. He was hit by D. Winters high, and it's 3rd down.
Anything laterally against this crew, they are speed, speed, speed. As you can see, Winters coming from his linebacker spot, excellent on the perimeter. Again, turning that back in, so it can be hammer time from the inside out. To see Deckers run. If you got a young, struggling quarterback and he's an athletic kid, find a way to get him in space.
They do run, but it's with Norton, the freshman, to get a much-needed 1st down for Iowa State.
And that helps. All right, that's the one thing that you throw it 39 times a game, and the whole burden is on you because the run game has struggled. Not good.
He will throw. It's a screen, and it's Norton, the freshman, out of the backfield. And Norton with some space across the 40-yard line and finally taken down by Newton.
There you go. A little bit of run, a little bit of a screen. About as easy a completion as you can get here. Well timed. The guys get out in front, and I like this tempo as well. All right? Don't allow your quarterback to sit there and have to process and think too much. Tempo helps.
Quick throw again. And Iowa State's got a couple of yards with Knoll. And that should be the end of quarter number 1. With shock value from TCU across the bow of the Cyclones. The Frogs on their first drive scored and continued to score. And continued to score after 15 minutes up 24. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. TCU, one of 3 unbeatens remaining, leading Iowa State by 24, and you just don't see that against this program.
Not the way they're built. They're usually built to get the game to the 4th quarter. 1-score games galore. It's been an onslaught. TCU today.
That reaction you hear is for the Hypnotoad on the scoreboard. Norton on the run. That's a big gash. And he sidesteps a tackle across the 20-yard line. So it's a 1st down. It took Kamara eventually 15 yards downfield.
Yeah, this looked like the TCU offensive line. Just watch him wash this entire side down. The true freshman with a lot of green grass.
Deckers pulls it down and runs. And he's hit at about the 11. Johnny Hodges, the Navy transfer, with the tackle.
You got to do more of that. He's a big, physically talented kid. Everything, as you said earlier, football, basketball, baseball. Gatorade State Player of the Year. And for Hodges and Hodge and Winters and these linebackers, he's got to present that threat. He's got enough athleticism to do so.
I was just going to say it changes the picture for what he sees when he wants to throw, I would imagine. Best drive of the day for Iowa State by far. And a 2nd down and 3 for Deckers to throw. Incomplete. He wanted Hutchinson. And Josh Newton on the coverage. These corners have been really good.
How much fun was it talking to Newton yesterday? I mean, these two, by every metric and number, percentage against, Hodges, Tomlinson, and Newton just can't do it better than that. Both got hands on each other. Right? I know the youngster wants a penalty flag, but the minute Hutchinson puts his hands on Newton, it's free game. And those 2 corners have been phenomenal this season.
Newton away from home really for the first time, transferring from Louisiana Monroe.
On one to the bottom again.
And a flag comes in, and that you just can't have if you're Iowa State.
False start. Number 87, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Joe Gillespie, the defensive coordinator, has got to like that. He hired himself as defensive coordinator in high school at Stephenville when he was a head coach down there.
And he's never had clay like this to mold. So much speed. A couple of those corners playing excellent ball. That front seven that is flying. Really fitting that 3-down scheme that he loves so well.
No Hutchinson here, and it's a Deckers run. He is smacked down by D. Winters. Now what?
Oh, you got to go. I mean, your defense has no answer, as good as they are, but you can't settle for field goals. The only shot you got here is to go for it. And I'd find a way to get number 8 involved. Xavier Hutchinson, they bring Sean, the big receiver, as well. You got to give your personnel an opportunity.
Hutchinson in the slot up top. That's where the eyes go. Deckers rolling out, still rolling and throwing for the end zone. It is a touchdown. What a grab in the end zone by the tight end, Deshaun Hanukkah.
And that was about the only spot as Deckers gets flushed. There is nobody else to go to. And he does exactly what I said, gives one of his weapons an opportunity, and that left foot is in. He controls it all the way through contact with the ground. That is a big-time response.
The only question that might arise is when did he have control of the football? And I agree with you. That looks like a touchdown to me.
A degree of difficulty, a 10. On this entire play, there is one tiny window to throw to. As you can see, Obi Izor, the nickelback, is all over Hanukkah. Boy, did they need that.
It's a big time throw, Brock.
Yep. That's on talent, man. That's the upside that they see. Just got to do it consistently as a young freshman.
Chase Gilbert on for the extra point. Kicking has been an issue for Iowa State, but that 4th down conversion in the end zone keeps the Cyclones within some contact here in Fort Worth. Iowa State, a very needed response, and you see Hunter Deckers talking to his backup quarterback, Ashton Cook. The touchdown for Hanukkah gets Iowa State 7 points that without it. Yeah, you're talking blowout.
Yeah, it's been a brutally difficult year offensively for these Cyclones. The worst on paper Matt Campbell's ever had, but that was excellent coaching. Screens, QB run, get the ball out, mix some tempo. Finally got TCU on their heels a little bit defensively.
Amari DiMercato on the return for TCU, and there's a crease. DiMercato down the sideline. Little hesitation, and finally Blake Clark hemmed him into the sideline.
Boy, this looks like some of the TCU run game in that opening quarter. Body on a body on a body, and just another explosive scene. That doesn't count in the explosive plays offensively. But this other phase of the game is showed us last week in the country. They're pretty good on special teams, too.
How about Amari DiMercato, who was with this team half a decade ago when they played in that Cheez-It Bowl that was 10-7 in overtime with 9 interceptions. He's now part of a very high-powered, high-motor offense that looks nothing like we saw that day, as Duggan, who's hit 6 different receivers, nearly hit a Cyclone. Kendall Jackson was the closest.
But it was the pressure right in his face when he has missed high on 2 different occasions today. You're going to see again this pressure just come right in his face. Trying to get outside the pocket. That time it is Peterson that gets just enough push. And you're right, Iowa State could have desperately used 2 hands on the ball there by the linebacker Jackson.
This right here is going to be the 14th play for TCU already in Iowa State territory today. Duggan surveying. On the roll, Max Duggan turns it upfield as the crowd stands. He gets out of bounds, and it's 3rd down. talking to Max Duggan, Allison mentioned it, that heart condition. He said COVID eventually saved my life because they wouldn't have known about the heart condition without the test that came after it. But he was so grateful to be back on the field, and there's kind of a full circle here because Iowa State was his first game after all that in 2020. It's a third down run, and we'll see if they do go for it on fourth down with the third down call there. Kendre Miller.
That's the first time they have stopped that counter play where they block down, they pull the other side of the line. A better job. I think Orion Vance, 34. The rest of that crew said enough. Enough of us sitting here and being targets. John Haycock, let's fire, let's pull the trigger and stuff that counter run before it can get going.
Bring on the freshman Hudson at the bottom of the screen on a fourth down and 5, and movement at the line. Looks like Coleman, the left tackle.
False start, number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Now, when you're lined up against the best to ever do it in the Big 12, and that's that guy right there, Will McDonald, tied all time with 34 career sacks, and it's going to be a pass. And they're 6'6" and 325, giving up about 100 pounds. And Will McDonald saying, yep, that's a 5 that takes us finally off the field defensively.
Yeah, he just got his team a possession. That false start penalty means fourth down, and now let's see. They're going to go ahead and try the field goal, it looks like, from 54. So Sandy was coming on, but to hold, not to punt. And here is Fort Worth superstar Griffin Kell from 54 yards away. It is on the way, and it is good. Griffin Kell can do no wrong. His parents both went to TCU. He grew up loving TCU, and now the whole campus loves him. Last time TCU beat Iowa State, Jonathan Song had the game winner. But Griffin Kell has become Mr. Horn Frog. And look, he told us, as we talked to him yesterday, he said somebody yelled bazooka. Like he just heard somebody yell it on that field goal to win last week, and he basically was the last guy to find out, and he just sort of strode onto the field like he was late to a party. Like, hey guys, where do I put the potato salad?
Said I was a little late because I had to sift my way through traffic. But I'll say this: a lot of people in life will always say, "Hey, I want Morgan Freeman to narrate my life story." I think Griffin Kell is going to be all for Benetti.
Okay.
Jason Benetti is going to narrate my life story because it's been quite a ride the last 7 days.
But how cool is it for Griffin Kell and a kicker to have moments like this? Because you just don't know, right? If you miss it, you hear all the other stuff. Yep. If you make it, suddenly you're the toast of the town. College football always delivers. It's incomplete. Hutchinson had it knocked away, and Hodges Tomlinson so confident on the corner.
Again, in just the pie chart of complimentary praise and credit all across this roster, these two corners, Hodges Tomlinson and Newton, aren't going to get enough of it. But if you're going to be an elite defense, a championship caliber defense, ultimately play for the Big 12 title next week, you need shutdown guys on the perimeter, and that's what these two, Newton and Hodges Tomlinson, have become.
Their opponent in that game will be decided later. Kansas State, Kansas. This is incomplete, and that's Hodges Tomlinson again, but a marker has come in, much to his dismay.
There was early contact here. That's what you have to do against such an active, smaller corner. Put a big body tight end on him.
Pass interference, number 1, defense. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Yeah, that's Hanukkah with the touchdown earlier, and you just see the hands all over him, the grab, the tug. It totally impedes his opportunity. But when you're 5'9", $190, and you're facing a 6'6", 240-pound tight end, you've got to have contact, but you can't impede their chance to go get it.
I would wager that flag doesn't come without the tug of the jersey. It's a run. It's Norton, the freshman. And he ends up getting to about the 43-yard line.
That's good movement. This Iowa State crew has averaged just 3 yards a carry this season, 120th in the country. It's been hard for any of them to get going.
To Quick throw again. It's juggled and it's dropped by Hutchinson. He doesn't do that a whole lot on one of those quick screens, and it's third down. You see, look, the defense has been outstanding. The offense has not.
You know, if they had just simply averaged their scoring average, 20.7, 21 points a game, they'd be 8-3. They'd be 8-3 this season. That's how good that defense has been and how much of a struggle it has been to score consistently.
It's not lost on Sonny Dykes how easily TCU could be Iowa State and Iowa State could be TCU. But when you win them all, you're in the playoff conversation, and they should be. Decker's on the roll. He throws across his body, and this one's on target for Knoll on a first down.
That is danger, danger, danger. Sprint out. Think you're going to get man. They don't. TCU plays some zone coverage. After you've thrown an interception back across your body for a pick six, you know what's easy to do? Throw it in the third row. You know what's hard to do? Flush that play. But when you're a baseball player, you have some of that mentality, and that background helps, because that's a big third down conversion.
Football, baseball, basketball for Deckers in high school, a standout in all of them. He turns to fire this time, and he's got Hanukkah again about a yard short of the line to gain.
He's got a quick release, doesn't he?
He does.
270-some three-pointers, a school record, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and he just flicks it.
They are going to give Hanukkah the first down there, so they advanced it about a yard on a second look. It's a huge drive for Iowa State if they're going to hang around here. The Cyclones do get the ball after halftime. This is a run. It is Sanders, and that's not going anywhere. I thought for a moment that was going to turn into the Brock Purdy hand off the wrong direction from Monday Night Football, and good to see Brock getting in for the 49ers, but it's 2nd and 11.
Now, Dylan Horton, the captain right there. And if there's TCU Horned Frogs that have transformed themselves, you put that list together, and I know we'll get to that over the course of the show, he's the headliner. He has added so much strength and power. A former receiver and safety out of high school, now a difference-making D-end.
2nd and 11. Deckers loads up. He throws, and Hodges Tomlinson had the coverage on Dimitri Stanley, the Colorado transfer.
The only way you pull that trigger and take that shot is if you're in 4-down territory. And that's going to be a hard one because you don't have a speed advantage out on the perimeter.
What are you trying to get here on 3rd and 11?
Enough to make it a manageable 4th down and go, too.
Hutchinson at the bottom. Closest to the line in the trips. Deckers, double clutch, batted away. That's the other corner, Josh Newton.
The coolest story that he shared with us yesterday.
Brock, he turned to us, he said, you want to hear a story? He said, in 6th grade, my coach put somebody who's a little bit weaker link in my lifting group. And he said, you know what? If you guys aren't good enough, you got to make him better. And Josh Newton is that type of guy, just that infectious energy for this team.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes has said this year he's never coached a player quite like him. Absolutely zero entitlement, and has done nothing but work as a Louisiana Monroe transfer.
So they don't get any yardage, and that forces the punt, which goes rolling out of bounds, and a good one for Tyler Perkins, the freshman from the state of Ohio. TCU gets it back. They don't really turn down for anybody, this Horned Frog team. Unbeaten, up 20. A heck of a look in the studio. A lot going on in college football that the folks will update you on for the State Farm halftime show. TCU, a little hesitation. Miller then just slams on the Jets and cuts inside. 2nd down. Allison, what are you hearing downstairs?
Well, Iowa State defensive coordinator John Haycock told us this week that they have to be great tacklers. Kendry Miller is so good getting those yards after contact, so that was a big point of emphasis, and it continues to be here throughout this game, telling the linebackers you have to take that extra step with Miller, wrap him up, and get your whole body on him.
220 pounds, yet another grown man. Allison, you're absolutely right. Got to bring the force.
Duggan hit and dropped. It's Will McDonald the fourth, and if they do call that a sack, it is the record breaker in the Big 12.
I think this is QB draw, but this is the matchup right here. Right, we saw Coleman with the false start earlier, and if McDonald wins with his hands early, he's given up a lot of weight, but if he wins with his hands, which is largely what he's done for 4 years, it is advantage Will McDonald.
I thought it was QB run as well. They will give him the sack. We'll check with our full complement of stats folks here in Fort Worth. Third down. Duggan throws. It was a late break, and it's Pride free. Nicely done by Kyle to set up fourth down.
They picked on Kyle a couple times, and this is a deep route trying to get to the sticks. A long throw from one hash all the way across the field, and it's just a tick late. And that gives Kyle, a cornerback playing safety today, the opportunity to go and break it up.
Without the freshman safety, Jeremiah Cooper. Sandy to punt. He ends up going down. There is no marker. He's so good at avoiding punt returns, and he does tumble this ball all the way across midfield. Tuesday on Fox, Team USA's World Cup dream is down to this. The U.S. versus Iran. The U.S. needs a result, needs a win after the tie against England. Iran with the upset victory against Wales. Coverage starts at 1 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
Yeah, pretty simple at this point. You got to win. Win and move on. Kind of like college football. As you get to this time of year, as the calendar flips to December next week. Kind of like it was in Columbus just a few hours ago as well.
That Michigan just shocked Ohio State late in that game with point after point. Little hesitation and a job through the defense by Norton, who keeps driving the legs across the 40 to the 35.
Yeah, this is the most swag that I have seen Norton, the freshman out of Georgia, play with. You're absolutely right. I mean, look at the movement, though. Jared Russ and company moved that line of scrimmage.
Deckers, quick set. Jalen Knoll. And he is across the 30 to set up second down and short.
The scoreboard may not show it, but it feels like for Andrew Deckers and these Cyclones, they found their footing finally, right? Just took the haymakers in that first quarter, but did a much better job mixing it.
Another sidestep by Norton and a first down. You said it, a little QB run and some screen game has really changed this for Iowa State.
Yeah, and this O-line is looking at some numbers. This O-line is familiar with this scheme and how to block a three-down crew. It's what they do all spring and fall camp. And there you see Tyler Miller back in at left tackle. They've shuffled the left side of that line just a little bit, down in the captain, the center right in the middle of it all, but it starts there. If they can do that and just have some level of balance, Tucker's just got enough arm strength, and they've got in Hutchinson a weapon on the perimeter to take advantage of.
Silas in at tailback. Deckers to throw. Up high and incomplete. Hodges Tomlinson on the coverage of Hutchinson.
It's a couple balls that have hit his hands that usually find a way into the stat column. 105 receptions on the season, #1 in America, and that's a play he makes 99 of 100 times. It is in his hands, perfectly thrown by Deckers, would set you to the 2. And Hutchinson unable to corral it.
6 targets, 1 catch for Hutchinson so far this afternoon. Deckers to throw again. 2nd and 10. That's got too much on it. Newton the coverage of Knoll, and it's 3rd and 10.
What do you want to do, Joe Gillespie? You going to bring a little pressure? You going to play a little zone? Have some eyes on this freshman quarterback.
That is quite the look.
Weird Al.
Top-notch super fan. 3rd and 10.
And the man.
It's Hutchinson in motion. Newton follows him, and it's a whistle before the snap, and a flag is down.
Right tackle.
False start. Number 67, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
You talked about TCU's O-line being such a point of stability. All 5 guys played all season. Iowa State's mixed some right tackles, moved around their left side of their line. And you just see the difference there with a true freshman quarterback moving pieces on that O-line. Hard to be consistent. Excuse me, a redshirt sophomore quarterback. But a young'un making his first complete season of starts.
Very young in this game. Deckers to throw, and that's incomplete to the shoe of Shaw. And it's 4th down. Now, I mean, you don't really have great choices on the menu. The kitchen's a little bit getting ready to close.
Yeah, and you don't have Griffin Kell on your sidelines either.
It's Jace Gilbert, who is a freshman from a town of about 5,000 people southwest of Oklahoma City, Marlow, Oklahoma. From 46, this ends up slicing wide, and Iowa State gets nothing out of this drive.
Timeout.
That penalty was huge. Backed him up. No dice on the kick. And Iowa State trounced TCU last year. It was the 24th straight game Breece Hall had a rushing touchdown. And Iowa State put up a huge number, but the revenge tour continues for Super Frog and TCU.
Yeah, and a veteran team that has caught the power of belief. We've now seen them for the 3rd time this season. Doesn't really matter what the style of game is. They've come back so many times. And right now, they are well ahead.
Amari DiMercato was met by Gary Vaughn. And you said it off the top. Max Duggan is 0 for 3 against Iowa State in his career. He has not beaten the home school in the Big 12. He's from Iowa, but he's just so much more decisive this year.
Well, you see the difference in 2 quarterbacks and what 4 years of experience and going through some tough circumstances is built.
Draw DiMercato. Got about 5. Orion Vance there with Freeler, 3rd and very short, and that's something Iowa State didn't experience as their drive bogged down.
Pretty good mix of run today for Duggan. So much of it over the 3 years was on his shoulders. And you felt that in his play, at times frantic. Garrett Riley calming things down on that sideline. Sonny said you won't find a calmer play caller in all of college football, even in huge moments in 4th quarters. Garrett's heartbeat doesn't change, and that's impacted Max Duggan in a positive way.
It's another draw. DiMercato is dragged down. Tyler O'Needham got in there first.
Yeah, this is strange because this play is supposed to go this way. You're going to watch the polar, Andrew Coker, and DiMercato says, nope, I think I see something in space. And there was nothing as it closed in a hurry. And now you're feeling what Iowa State defensively has really done all year long. Gotten off the field and been a dominant group for Matt Campbell.
But your point from earlier holds. That's why the early flurry from TCU was so important to Sonny Dykes and this team, as Sandy does get this away with a scissor kick. And it goes bouncing along the sideline. And if one punt can typify the entire season for TCU, there it is. We take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, sponsored by Splash Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Yeah, almost all of this damage in that first quarter. I think you said like 155 of those yards as they went up and down the field, went forward on 4th down on a big play. You can see for Iowa State, that's pretty good rushing yards for them. A kind of balance that you have not seen, that certainly Hunter Deckers has not benefited from this season, as he's had to throw up more than any QB in this conference.
It is Deckers on the run, and Deckers gets dropped. Bud Clark went for the shoe top and sliced him down.
Wow, and he went right through Jared Russ to make this happen. You're going to see Russ come across right there in the open field, and that is just a juke. And you better be right. If you lose leverage like that, Clark's job is to keep everything inside, but Yeah, he rips and claws at the spandex there of Deckers. He made and pulled the trigger. Tackle for loss.
Winters was coming. It's a throw to Knoll. And it's third down and short. To you that Winters is coming, but it's definitely getting colder along college football lines. Deckers on a third and short here.
Iowa State, just think points. You'll get the ball to begin the second half here. Just manage the game. Find a way right now to possess it in this third down. A huge part of it.
Hutchinson in the slot up top. He delayed his route. It's a throw for Knoll and a first down. Hodges Tomlinson takes him to the ground.
Yeah, this has got to be a bust because there is nobody here. Yes, Hutchinson attracts a little bit of attention, but on 3rd and 3, that is way too easy.
Deckers just throws it right to the ground. Now the question is, was there actually an eligible receiver in the area? We saw one of those in the Michigan-Ohio State game.
Second down.
They're going to say Norton was close enough.
To see it with Iowa State, don't you? You just see a couple great plays, and then they just give them away. Right? Too many giveaways, false starts or throwaways, or in that case, a first down screen that does nothing. And it is just hard with young inexperience to climb up.
This is their 14th run compared to 22 passes as well. That's hard as you see Silas go down. It's long again.
And against quality opponents, which you see week in and week out in this Big 12, sometimes hard for young players who've had so much success over their careers in high school like Hunter did. I'll make up for it. I'll make up for it. No, not against the league competition. Hard to do 3rd and 10.
Truly is the opposite of what Max Duggan has done this year. The belief in everybody else to make a play. 3rd and 10 for Deckers. TCU gets home. Deckers breaks away. There's a marker down. This is complete for Norton, but it's likely coming back.
Holding. Number 52, offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Yeah, this is 52 on 52 crime right here. It's going to be the big man. You're going to see the center. Downing called for it, but he gets matched up with the 320-pound freshman. Well done by Williams.
Downstairs, Allison.
One quick note, guys. Johnny Hodges, TCU's leading tackler, just headed into the locker room. He wasn't out for that previous defensive series either, so he's dealing with some sort of injury. I'll have an update for you guys as soon as I can.
That would be a big loss for any length of time. Hodges, the transfer from Navy. This 3rd and 20. Third and long has not gone well today for TCU, and Norton is crushed by Uguag. Now TCU, I believe, is going to use one of those timeouts.
Well, they should.
Well, they're gonna.
TCU calls their first charge timeout of the half.
So TCU is going to get the ball back. 88 seconds left. Iowa State gets the ball at halftime. Big drive coming up. We're back in 30 seconds. TCU by 20. The Horned Frogs will get the ball back. That hit the official and actually saved Iowa State some yards.
Well, this is another first. Back-to-back weeks of first in special teams that I've never seen in my life.
Stacey Harden just got crushed by that football.
I mean, I know the wind has been a little weird and whipping around a little bit. Yeah, go ahead and spit it out. Just not a tooth.
Stacey, that's not supposed to happen. Wow.
And the team usually so buttoned up in the special teams phase, right? Matt Campbell, a program that's been built in the margins of doing the little things right. Missed a field goal earlier. That time, snap well over the head, sets TCU up in prime position.
22 yards away. It's Davis with his speed in motion, and it's a handoff for Kendre Miller's dropped by Orion Vance. The defense is relentless, though.
Yeah, and they just had a different disposition. And Orion Vance a big part of it. Will McDonald a big part of it. Early on, they were taking the blows. Just watch him run right through the right tackle. Coker says, nope, not this time. I'm going to get to those legs before Miller can get going.
Imani Bailey in motion. Duggan to throw. Line drive down the middle. It's Spivey with muscle inside the 5.
Holy smokes, was that a throw. Whew. You know what they call that, don't you?
What's that?
They call this a car wash ball. You want to know why?
Why is that?
Because you could throw it through a car wash without it getting wet. That kind of velo.
Decisive by Duggan, and it's a run, and it is the second door for Imani Bailey that gets him very close but not into the end zone. And we got a timeout coming. Timeout TCU. 31 seconds.
Your second charge timeout of the half.
Yeah, the first half tomorrow on Fox. Huge doubleheader in the NFL. Tom Brady and the Bucs against the Browns. Then America's Game of the Week, the Rams take on Patrick Mahomes and all of his arm angles and the Chiefs. It all kicks off tomorrow, 1 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check your local listings for the games in your area. Let's go to the clicker, shall we?
You've said this a bunch about Max Duggan and just how different he is. Look at this route, okay? It's a beautiful route. We're going to fake here and go. Look at right at the window he's looking at. Look at this. He's double covered with a safety in the middle. Max Duggan the last 3 years never makes his throw. I mean, look at the margin. Look at this whistles by Freeler right here. Look at this. There is no margin for error. But that's the confidence that he has to rip it right now, as I said, on his way to New York City.
We both watched the tape of last year's Iowa State game, and you can see him just less confident, less decisive. He knows where he's going, and he knows what he's capable of, and then some. Second and goal run, straight ahead. DeMercado was tripped up, and he's going to be short. Anthony Johnson got a leg. 25 seconds to go. And TCU's going to call timeout, but you kind of wanted to see how they're going to play the final couple seconds of a first half. The fans are looking at us like we can call it a touchdown for DeMercado. We don't have that power yet.
This is just an awesome job by the guy that Matt Campbell said. Now, I think where's that purple begin?
Well, it's the red line there. The ball just has to get a... I don't know.
That's a colorblind guy's nightmare.
That the runner was short of the goal line. The previous play is under further review.
That's very close. Now, the hand being down is not enough, right? You got to have the elbow down. Mike Pereira is with us. Mike, what do you see here?
Put you down, the legs are up, and boy, does the front part of the ball, that's all that it takes. Does that break the plane for a touchdown? Certainly looks to us here that it well might be.
You got enough to overturn, Mike?
You know, I say if I was under the hood and looking at this in the instant replay booth, I would. I mean, I think it is one, although the shot's not directly down the line, and that may be the only thing they may bank on, to me, it does look like the tip of the ball breaks the plane.
It's very close. It is very close. We will see. Mike, thank you for that. It's a red line there. You know, TCU sometimes uses red in their color scheme as well.
Well, this is a first. In my colorblind life, I didn't even realize there was a red line there.
Is that right?
Yeah, for those of us in the colorblind community, and I'm not wearing my outdoor sunglasses that I do have, I did not see a red line there.
Well, I know you love the story behind why TCU uses the red with their jersey.
Sure.
We can share it later if you'd like.
But I think the tip of that ball does cross. Yeah, a horned frog, its last line of defense, is to squirt blood out of its eyes. Camouflage first, dig into the ground second. And then they'll break their own nasal cavity, the horned frog, and squirt blood against its predators.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe the red there on the goal line.
Could be. We'll see if it's a touchdown. At least we learned something over the course of this replay review. DeMercado, who's in his 5th year in this program, GPA over 3.7, business analytics master's degree. He's been a big part of this thing.
And this would be touchdown number 7 for him on the team, only behind Miller and Davis. And he could feel it. He felt Anthony Johnson coming off of that edge, but was the tip of the football just across that line.
Kevin Voigtman, our referee.
After further review, the ruling in the field stands. It'll be third down.
Couple thousand people here seeing red with that call.
Okay, so no timeout. Third down. That was well played. If you try to run it, you have ample time to get Bazooka on the field.
Yeah,
we learned that last week.
Isn't it funny how the calculus changes? DeMercado, the tailback. And we have a whistle and a timeout, Iowa State.
Iowa State takes their first charge timeout of the half.
Crowd here not very receptive to that timeout from Matt Campbell. Coming up at the half, stay tuned. Emmanuel Acho, Chris Peterson, and Petros have the State Farm halftime show. Some of the stories they'll be covering. Michigan's big win you saw right before us. Georgia and Georgia Tech as well. And Clemson, one-loss teams are dropping pretty quickly.
How about Spencer Rattler's last 2 weeks? Beats Tennessee, beats Dabo today. Just phenomenal for Coach Beamer. Monster step forward for that South Carolina program.
2 signature wins that you will hear about at halftime. 3rd and goal, they'll go empty.
Dual threat QB. If he doesn't have it, he can run.
Duggan throws. It's low and it's incomplete. Kyle with the coverage. The crowd wants a marker.
Just inside, little slant route by Davis. Kind of goofy all the way around. Davis almost looks like his foot gets caught. Contact behind him. Kyle's all over him. Crowd wanted a little flinch.
Before the snap. Is this a go for it, right?
Yes.
Max Duggan is looking around like he's missing somebody.
DeMercado.
Yeah, that's who it is. You have the backup quarterback, Sam Jackson, on the field as well. He goes in motion. Iowa State has a guy coming onto the field. And let's see. This play did not count. This play can be a lot of things, but it's definitely not a touchdown.
Iowa State calls their second charge timeout of the half.
And there's the
30
answer.
seconds. Let me find out, Coach.
Matt Campbell saying, I have the right to substitute because they substituted, but did you do it with enough pace, reasonably, to say you deserve the opportunity?
Because a timeout occurred.
Yeah, DeMercado was so late coming on the field, and you can see as the clock is ticking down, DeMercado is going to come on the field late. And with that substitution, you will see this. Mike Pereira, what are you seeing here? It looks like they try to give a time to sub.
Mike, what are you seeing?
Substitution coming in. That's a late substitution by the offense there. So really you have to keep, as they call it, the window open long enough to let the defense match up. Yeah. And they didn't. So really they should have held it. And even if the play clock would have run out, then it would have been a delay game on the offense because of that late sub.
Instead, it's a timeout. Now we have another timeout. Iowa State is using its full bag of timeouts. Max says, what is this? Paraphrasing. can you build enough frustration in this TCU offense that maybe just by inertia they'll kick a field goal?
Well, each one of those timeouts serves a purpose. And that one was, okay, what are they going to come out in? What kind of look and personnel are they going to give us now? Does Matt Campbell and John Haycock force Garrett Riley to do something a little different on his side after he's shown his cards? As strong and tough as Max Duggan is, you know what I'd like? I'd like him under center in a little QB sneak and maybe a little push from his buddies behind him.
They've got Carter Ware in as the fullback and Kendre Miller. So they've gone with 3 separate looks on these 3 plays. On 4th and goal, it's Miller on the run, bouncing it outside for the touchdown. And now they want to reset the play clock here. This is Sam Jackson working out of the shotgun, and TCU is just completely unloading everything they've got. Jackson throws incomplete. There's a marker in as well. And now the officials come running in, a little frustration bubbling over.
Is this Funky Town?
I think we are in Funky Town. That is right. If people are just tuning in who've never watched football before, I don't know that the rules are readily apparent right now. So if you're new to the game, please stay with us.
There are fouls on both teams.
Of course there are.
Illegal formation on the offense. Personal foul. Hands to the face, number 32 on the defense. The foul's offset. We'll replay the try.
But it won't be the same as the last one. What a wild ride this has been the last couple of minutes, huh?
Yeah. And there went Garrett Riley changing the play. He was going to be in the shotgun with Max Duggan. Says, nope. You want to call timeouts? You want to change and ante up the pot? I'll go to my heavy package and an awfully large touchdown before intermission.
If last week was bazooka, was that last 2-point play catapult or? Wow. Well, here's a score on 4th down for Miller.
So many guys did the right thing, and I don't mean to single out a corner Miles Purchase because that's tough duty out there. But once you lose contain, it's over. What did John Haycock say to us time and again when he played this group? We've got to make sure we are patient in our gaps. We've got to be sound as we get in there. We cannot get bored with doing the right thing. That's a containment player right there. The other 10 largely do their job. They get the penetration. They stuff Miller in the background. But Purchase just loses that contain for a second. Miller puts his second touchdown on the board.
And that last set of points comes after the bad punt snap. And mistakes have been an issue. Iowa State has thrown a pick 6. The punt ends up going rolling to about the 20-yard line. And by the way, leading that play was your guy Wes Harris, whose press conference was 11 minutes of dazzling wit and wisdom.
And Sonny Dykes knew what he was up against today. This is uncharted territory for Iowa State this year. 6 of 7 losses by 1 score. The only one that was in Oklahoma. They had the ball in the 4th quarter with a chance still to win it in that game. A very different script being played out today in Fort Worth.
Well, for those who are into punditry of the college football playoff and have they done enough, or are the close wins enough? Not that TCU felt like they had to answer that question, but this first half goes into the suggestion box at the very least for that group of people. And Sonny Dykes, stop number 4 in college at this point. This is by far his best first season.
Well, this is the most resources he's ever had. Tried to build La Tech up, did some good things, went to Cal, and it is tough. And it's an uphill slog there in Berkeley. Really started to feel it the last couple years. At SMU, the turnaround was here as an analyst in 17, knew the quality of this job. And I think even he has been pleasantly surprised at all the resources he's gotten to use and work with this year. And boy, is it paying dividends on the field.
You could tell there is a genuine joy for this. He told us yesterday, I don't want this thing to end. I'm enjoying the ride too much. And yet another trip around a first half for TCU, and it's a 27-point lead, a cushion that they just have not seen this year. Emmanuel, Chris, and Petros in Los Angeles. Your State Farm halftime show is now. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. TCU looking the part of unbeaten, and our first half stats sponsored by Geico as well. Just 188 total yards, but the defense created a touchdown off pick. Special teams was big as well. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams along with you. What do you make of that first half?
Those numbers would never tell you the score on the scoreboard, but it's what TCU has done seemingly all year long as a championship team, and then the challenge for Iowa State. On the other side, they've just beaten themselves, but give TCU credit and Garrett Riley. This is the first fourth down in the game. You asked me, what do you do here? Do you go for it? They wanted to be aggressive coming in, and that was an enormous fourth down conversion, touchdown, right? Then they do it with the blocking in front early. Iowa State was catching those blocks, and you could see TCU knocking guys down left and right for the touchdown run. This was a doozy. This was a pick six. And Matt Campbell said, if we're going to come into this building and beat a 10-0 team, we're going to have to be sharp and win the turnover battle. They didn't. They didn't win on offense. They didn't win on defense. And with Griffin Kell's help there, they haven't won in special teams either.
54-yard field goal for Griffin Kell, career long. The best week of his life has become the best 2 weeks of his life. And Iowa State gets the ball with Jalen Knoll. He's across the 25 in good field position for the Cyclones, Allison Williams.
I asked Iowa State head coach Matt Campbell what he tried to emphasize to his team at the half, and he said everything. Everything's got to be better. It's about detail for us. It's about capitalizing on opportunities. He said we've had opportunities throughout this game, and as has been the case throughout this season, we haven't been able to deliver. He said it's killed us all year. It killed us in the first half here against a really great team. So we're going to find out a little bit more about who we are here in the second half. Couple injury notes for TCU. You guys, Johnny Hodges, you'll see still not on the field. He is out for the game with a hamstring injury. Also, Quentin Johnson unlikely to see the field in this game unless they absolutely needed him.
Yeah, 34-7. Thought that might be the case. This one does find its way to Hutchinson. So we'll see Shadrack Banks playing in the linebacker spot with the injury to Hodges.
And you got to see the country's best receiver get going. A couple balls that hit his hands early in that first half that he didn't come down with. Not like him.
Deckers incomplete. He wanted Stanley on the sideline. So 3rd and 1. Look, Matt Campbell in his 7th year, he's 5 games over 500. He's a great motivator. He's part of 5 title teams at Mount Union, but this season has just not been in big spots what he wanted at all.
It's the details, man. It's the nitty-gritty details. It's what they have majored in their success, in their upsets on the road. And all the details going to the guys in purple today.
Deckers on the run, and he does lean into a first down to the 45.
And some of this is growing pains, Jason. I mean, so much experience left the building and got drafted. Looks like Deckers took a hard shot and remains down.
Hunter Deckers in
Clock
pretty
operator,
severe
please reset
pain.
the game clock to 14:23. 14:23 on the clock.
Winters drives him into the ground, as you can see them working on that right shoulder. He is a lefty, but that right shoulder driven into the ground. one of the challenges when you run your quarterback between the tackles like this. This is clean. You can see Winters doing all he can and company. 2 Horned Frogs at about 450 pounds, driving that shoulder into the ground hard.
Brock, you played the position. As you're going down to the ground there, what are you trying to do to protect yourself?
You are trying to roll onto your back. Right, cut of your scapula. You're trying to make sure that that weight is not on that AC joint, not on that shoulder, as he still is in tremendous pain.
So it is Rocco Becht who's come in to play quarterback. He's thrown 2 passes this year, the freshman, whose father Anthony certainly is tuned in and an interested party. Longtime NFL tight end. And that's the pitch. It goes to Norton, and he is just thrilled. Millard Bradford, who had the pick 6 earlier, and he's hurt.
He comes up, looks like he is holding that shoulder a little favorably. That is a massive collision that those 2 men knew was coming. He's zeroing in. Bradford is that nickel safety, the unblocked third safety coming out of center field, and you could see Norton trotting off as well. That was a massive car accident.
Eli Sanders comes in to play tailback, the freshman. Officially no gain. And Rocco Becht to throw, looking for his first completion. And Hodges Tomlinson was all over Hutchinson with a marker coming in.
You could see the entire sidelines of Matt Campbell. I think about a 32-inch vert on my board, jumping up for that penalty flag.
Pass interference, number 1, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, we've seen this all day with these 2 corners, Hodges Tomlinson. Hutchinson getting his hands on him, but that little tug. See that little pull right there? You said that earlier. Yeah. Second time that he has been called for interference, and on both occasions, he's savvy. If you do that maybe at the waist to get away with it, you do it at the shoulder, that back judge sees it. First down, Iowa State.
We have a whistle and a flag coming in over on the near sideline.
False start, number 7, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's been that all day as well. Penalties at the wrong time. 1st and 10 becomes 1st and 15. This is Darren Wilson Jr., the senior wide receiver. Snap. Sanders finally ends up with it, and D. Winters once again shoots the gap. There's a marker in as well.
Block, I believe, between left guard and left tackle.
Personal foul, chop block, number 54 and 66, offense. 15-yard penalty, still first down.
Right on it.
Yeah, it's right here, and you cannot engage. You can see the left guard Huffer get engaged, and once he is engaged, Miller comes down and cut blocks, which turns into a chop block. But look at D. Winters flying. You know, this is a fast flow. We saw last week Baylor actually use all that speed against them, right? But you let them put their cleats in the ground and come flying, Winters explodes.
Go back to throw down the middle, and a beautiful grab by Hanukkah, who took a shot across the 40.
About the true freshman Becht. Pretty good throw here.
First completion.
I think his dad's somewhere screaming, "Hey son, throw to the tight ends." His dad Anthony, one heck of a tight end collegiately for over a decade at the NFL level, and he puts it where his big tight end can go up and get it. When in doubt, find the tight end. Put the mouthpiece in.
Yeah, Dad's clapping more than his son right now, that's for sure. On the ground, Eli Sanders does have the first down. It's Winters and Hodge. You know, you're talking about this defense, Brock. Matt Campbell and his staff said to us, the first thing that stands out is how much bigger and more physical they are on tape.
And he's right at the epicenter of it. Horton and Winters Defensive line, linebackers, same guys. Many of them they had played for years. They just look different. And I said, you can notice that on tape, on game. Oh yeah, bigger, stronger, faster, and freed up in this system to also just read and react.
Sanders running high, breaks a tackle, and gets free. Sanders down to the 10.
This is a heck of a run. We have seen 3 different Cyclones running backs. They have played 4 over the course of the season. And that was a little Kendre Miller-esque running through a couple tackles.
Pounded the ground with his hand. He was frustrated. This ball ends up on the ground, and then Sanders picks it up.
Well, that's the second time Trevor Downing, the center there, is just putting his true freshman in a very rough spot. As you see Deckers running to the locker room. That is his right shoulder, his non-throwing shoulder, but that's 2 snaps. Downing has just sailed. It's wide right, and when you have a freshman behind you with his first significant snaps and you're the C on your chest, the captain, Trevor's got to do a better job of making the snaps something that the QB doesn't have to think about.
That a little bit short. What does that first real action feel like processing-wise for a quarterback?
You just have to slow things down. And it's funny, I brought up the mouthpiece, right? Because when you're a veteran player, right, you got your mechanism and you know what you're doing, and you put your mouthpiece in, you're ready to go. When you're a freshman, everything is flying, man. It is flying around you. This defense flies around so fast. So you're just trying to slow down and, more than anything, do your own job well.
His job is a 3rd and goal from the 17. Back to throw. He wants the end zone, and it is incomplete. 2 guys around Hutchinson. Hodges Tomlinson wanted pass interference on the Iowa State receiver.
They put these guys in one-on-ones, don't they? I mean, there is a little bit of safety help over the top, but number 1 has been the number 1 guy. Been targeted an awful lot. A couple pass interference penalties, but he is scrappy. He is tough. And he's going to be a 3-time all-conference Big 12 player when it's said and done.
That's one of those plays that shows how important the grab is, because he kept his hands steady there and they were in phase. So incomplete, no interference.
Ball's being properly spotted. It's 4th down.
Now the true freshman kicker has to respond here.
Jace Gilbert, who's 12 for 19 on field goals this year. From 35 in the hash mark. And that sails again. Some days this game will just torment you. No good. TCU in a big way. Watching a football team eat Thanksgiving dinner, I mean, that should be an Olympic sport. Let's be honest, they can put it away. This is the TCU football.
You gotta do this. A lot of people that are hungry.
You see, you even get the tutorial there on the video. How about that? What you gotta do. Max Duggan in the offense, getting the ball, and this is an incomplete pass deflected by McDonald.
The score a little deceptive of what Iowa State defensively has actually done to Max Duggan. Took a couple haymakers early. The explosion of points. But really, from the second quarter on, this defense has done what they've largely done to Max in this TCU offense over the years. Right, the pick 6, couple missed field goals, a snap over the puncher's head. And this defense continues to respond and play. TCU's really not gotten that run game at the center of it going.
This is Kendre Miller, and he's got a bit of an avenue. It's a gain of 3. Yeah, 34 points off of 191 yards is not your typical fare.
Oh, it was about 150 after the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
This is a proud crew that's played a lot of defense together. The best statistically on paper by far in the Big 12.
Coming into this game, they were 6 for their last 39 on 3rd down. The opponents for Iowa State. They've been pretty good again on 3rd down today. Duggan felt McDonald. Throw comes near side with some contact, and Savion Williams Takes it from the turf. What an adjustment.
This is just a veteran QB, and once again, a little bit of pressure on the right side, saying, okay, I'm going to give my guy a chance. I believe in the personnel around me, and that time it was Williams just in a one-on-one. I'm going to put the ball up and trust my guy can go get it.
A 38-yard hit, and now the patience of Kendre Miller. Boy, that is such an intelligent run for 9.
Savion Williams, another one of those guys that is just body beautiful that you see at practice yesterday as we watched. He's 6'5", he's 215. It's been physical on the edges, and he just gets enough of a push away from the corner purchase, but more importantly, the hands to snag it.
Again on the ground, and again, it's Kendre Miller. Before the season, Malcolm Kelly, the outside receivers coach for TCU, said to Savion Williams, use your body more. It is an asset. I think we've seen that this season.
That's what his buddy on the other side, Quentin Johnson, has done so well. I mean, you watch tape, Quentin's 6'4", he's 215. There's Savion, 6'5", 215. Spivey, we saw earlier, 6'5", 245. Tremendous length at the tight end and receiver position.
With Miller in motion, Duggan goes right down the center of the field and threads it through for Darius Davis.
It's amazing what a little run game and a big third down conversion can do right here, right? A number of times, just that pocket. This is what it looked like in the first quarter when big play after big play came, as Duggan could just sit back there versus a 3-man rush and fire shots like that.
See there how hard it is to be a DB. Kyle had the hand right around the area, and Duggan just snuck it on through. Duggan peeks behind Miller. He didn't give him much of a block. TJ Tampa was there.
I'm going to be real careful running number 15 now.
I don't know that careful is in his vocabulary.
Well, I would be. You can be. You don't call QB run. That was a design QB run. I'm not doing that anymore. Not up 27 in a Big 12 title in a playoff in the horizon. If I'm Garrett Riley, who's part of the plan coming into the game, to kind of get +1 in the run game versus this front. But there's enough other avenues, as you saw the other QB get hit and get knocked out. Do not need to see 15 and take any unnecessary contact.
That's that toss. It is Savion Williams looking for the corner. He skates by one and then finally gets dropped. Bo Freeler among others with there. It's third down.
We've seen TCU already be hyper aggressive. 2 touchdowns via the 4th down for Sonny Dykes. And it may very well be, hey, Garrett, the way our defense is playing, a young true freshman now in the game on the other side. We got 2 downs to get these 6 yards. It's going to be 4-down territory.
Especially because, whether you like it or not, the amount of points you do put up and the way you look, it's a holistic approach by the College Football Playoff Committee. Duggan with the pump and the throw, and that is a little bit off the mark, but a flag comes in. Freeler on the coverage. It came from behind.
And that is, again, impeding the receiver's chance to go get it. And that's Spivey again. Similar concept they've run a couple times. Little option, take a vertical.
Pass interference, number 17, defense. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Freeler doesn't like it, but you're going to see Spivey come in here and then go vertical. He's done this a few different times today. And it's just the hands right there. And once you start to impede his opportunity to go get it, Freeler doesn't like it. And it's hard because we've seen a bunch of this today, right? Hands, both receiver and DB on both sides have been very physical.
Well, he's 6'5", 245. I mean, you have to do something to get in his way. And Freeler flagged for that. It's first and goal from the 2. Over the middle, into the end zone. It's a touchdown, Savion Williams. Big catch on a deep ball, and the score later.
This is so good as a route. Getting inside, you can see the motion in front to try to distract, create a one-on-one, But that was all about Savion Williams against the corner purchase, the young corner, first-year starter out there. And you said what earlier? Use that 6'5" body, use that frame. His release off the ball allowed him to do so.
Those footballs right down the middle of the field from Max Duggan today as well.
Confidence. A word that Sonny Dykes used over and over again yesterday.
It's unflappable confidence too. TCU, close games all season. Now they're putting the hurt on Iowa State.
Everybody hands go up, and they stay there, and they say yeah.
Have you ever done that, Brock?
What do you think?
I think yes. Actually, I imagine you've done just about everything.
Yeah, the Aloha Bowl, 97.
Okay.
With the luau.
Pictures or it didn't happen. Noel back to receive, and after that wonderful story, we're going to step aside. TCU up big. More to come on the 97 Aloha Bowl next. Have you ever heard players in a program mention the strength and conditioning coach more than TCU's guys mention Kaz Kazadi?
At times, Jason, but I've never heard an opponent in a production meeting point to that guy as much as Iowa State did. And they did it indirectly because they just said it. Strength and development, I just don't recognize these guys. And Kaz Kazadi, the strength coach, is why. And talking to him yesterday and then watching his developmental players go through the paces, your boy started to understand why and what the commitment in the weight room is all about here.
To your point, though, Iowa State's coach has mentioned a number of times how much bigger TCU's players have gotten over the past year. It is a very intense weight room that they run here. Kaz and his staff. There were Mike Tyson clips on the television.
Yep.
Loud music. Allison?
And guys, this TCU team is bigger, but it's effective size, right? That's Kaz's whole thing. He says strength is slow, power is fast. So it's all about building the quick twitch muscle. They measure fat-free mass that they put on. So the physical transformation you can see, but the players I talked to say it was the mental transformation that he really implemented, the competitiveness and a whole different mindset and confidence from the get-go when he took over with this team.
He is very chock full of interesting theories that have had a massive impact on this TCU team. Shaw gets dispossessed of the football. TCU is on top of it. It's Mitchell, the transfer from Georgia.
Look at the amount of purple uniforms populates your screen. It's the tackle right there, the head on the football, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is Stewart, the junior backup corner. And watch Kaz's reaction right here. It's about speed, it's about getting to that football, and it's about playing in a frenzy, and he loves it. I'll tell you the one thing that I love that he said yesterday, because we hear all about, right, this kind of mental strength and conditioning and what all that looks like. And he said, what? If you put those things in silos, you don't get it. It's all of it that comes together within the program to build the kind of team he's put together.
Duggan with a line drive. And that gets to about the 30-yard line to Nowell. He also said, look, part of my job is just to get the players on the field. Players need to play.
And they have. I mean, they have missed 4 starts this year. Bradford missed 3, the safety during the season. Davis a week ago with the hand injury, and that is it. Every other Horned Frog available week in and week out.
Truly amazing what they have done.
Never seen it. I have never in my 14 years of college football ever seen a team this healthy through an entire 12 games. Never. Never. Jason, one guy, your receiver, Darius Davis, last week. Everybody else, running backs, linemen. I know Quentin Johnson hasn't played today, and they've had to baby a few, rightfully so. But that man right there and the work they do off the field. And Duggan even said it yesterday, yeah, I'm twitchier and I'm stronger than I've ever been. And strength coaches matter.
Duggan. Quick throw. We walked into the weight room yesterday, and there was this driving, amp you up sort of music, and we asked Kaz Kazadi about it, and he said, look, I am of the belief that you as a body, you're just water wrapped around skin, and vibrations matter. So I want to he firmly believes that sounds can make the body do more than expected.
I think he just looked at you and said, stop sharing my secrets.
Okay, so hard rock is really the secret we can't share. Thank you, Brock. Great teammate alert going off in the background. Imani Bailey shakes by one, breaks another tackle. You want strength. There you go, first and goal.
And let's see, he's the first, second, third, fourth running back for TCU. The transfer from Louisiana. Right there, tackles to be made. Run right through that arm tackle, just like Kendre does, just like Max Duggan does, just like so many of these Horned Frogs do. And I'm kind of joking, obviously, about Kaz, but you could tell yesterday, like he's not invited into many production meetings, and he doesn't like to talk about himself and everything they're doing, but there is science to all of it. Sonny believes it, these players believe it, and the proof's in the pudding on the field.
Everything is very intentional, you feel like, talking to Kaz Kazadi. And Imani Bailey gets bracketed, and down he goes. Second and goal for TCU. There's a marker in.
If you wouldn't mind.
Yes, please.
What was the name of that song? Because I need to add that to my workout list.
It was Bodies. Yeah. Just Bodies.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield, offense. 5-yard penalty, replay first down.
Allison?
You guys have your favorite moments of our time with Kaz. I think mine was when he described the team when he addressed them for the first time. He said it was a room of narrow eyes, squinting intensity. He said it was like addressing a pack of wolves. And that it just tells you kind of like this was within these guys, and it was his job to bring it out.
That's credit to Gary Patterson, who brought a bunch of tough dudes in here that wanted to compete and play ball.
Bailey. Not a lot there.
And the way the press box is situated here, one of the best in all of college football, is a TCU fan just came up to, you see, and in the class on paper, he put up a note asking me, can we compete with Michigan and Georgia?
Oh.
Yeah, and he just kind of stuck it like right here.
On the corner there.
Right there on the corner.
Yep.
And I nodded approvingly because, yes, they can. Because of everything we've just talked about over the last 5 minutes of gameplay, of the way this team is built. And it's a bunch of veteran grown men as well.
If they win out, you wonder what seed they would be in the college football playoff. Duggan end zone again. It's Jordan Hudson, a top 10 recruit at his position out of high school with a touchdown.
Jason, what kind of ball is this? Go ahead.
It's a car wash ball.
Because?
Because you could throw it through a car wash and it wouldn't get wet.
Wow. And you saw the freshman, the true freshman, point to his wrist and say, what time is it? And I am just telling you, in New York City, and if you're part of the Heisman Trust, Max Duggan belongs there and deserves a plane ticket to New York.
It would be his first trip to New York in his lifetime, as we learned because of our intrepid producer and curious producer Bo Garrett's incisive question. Max has not been to New York, but that frog horn is going off a lot because of his defense and the turnover created by Stewart, and that young man who continues to spearhead this whole thing. TCU before the season was picked 7th in the Big 12. Max Duggan wasn't on anybody's board to win the Heisman. 250-1 to win the national championship is a substantial long shot. But right now, checking the tote board, 60-1 for Max Duggan, 14-1 to win the title.
And both those odds going to get a lot better after this statement.
Against the best defense in the Big 12, Max Duggan and TCU with 48 points. Some of that provided by its own defense. Sonny Dykes, as Noel gets hit, and that might be 15. It's on Stewart. It's take a look at our Nissan Heisman Watch. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Today definitely opens the door, huh?
Yeah, and this was a rough one, and one at the end of the game for CJ in a game that I don't think anybody saw Michigan winning by 3 touchdowns.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit, number 2.
Blake Corum, just 2 carry. He tried to go. He tried to gut it out. As Reggie Bush said on Big Noon Kickoff, I've taken that injury. I know it took me a few weeks. He tried to brace it up and go. He played 1 series. He could not. We'll see Caleb Williams tonight, and he will have prime time to tell his story. But Max Duggan right now, today, hello, ladies and gentlemen, that's now 34 touchdowns on the season to 3 interceptions, 29 passing, 5 rushing, and more than anything, has elevated this program to incredible heights.
11-0 going on 12 is Beck with the throw. He has Knoll for a couple of yards.
You know, that game that you love and you cover so well on a daily basis.
Soccer?
Nope, that would be Major League Baseball.
Okay.
They have wins above replacement.
Yep.
So many metrics that go into their MVP discussions. And the Heisman is not the most valuable. It is the most outstanding player. But for Sonny Dykes and this team, if you were to take that metric of wins above replacement, how much does this player mean to this program? Caleb Williams, Max Duggan would be near the top of my list.
Yeah, there's also a stat called win probability added for what you do in moments that matter to your team, and he's been there the whole way. Beck has it intercepted. Picked off by TCU, and Josh Newton to the house.
Yeah, this team is, they're just flying. You're going to see the shallow cross here, the true freshman Becht. He's been terrific so far. This throw just a little bit behind his receiver, Stanley, and in a snake-bitten season at every turn for the Cyclones. It may be worst case of all tonight, as that ball falls right into the arms of Newton, and like his buddy Bradford earlier, to the house.
Joe Gillespie said to us yesterday, he said, well, when we're talking about communication, we have more DBs on the field than anything else. And right now it feels like they have 9 on the field at the same time, the way these corners are playing, and the safeties as well. Extra point is good. That's a double nickel.
Campbell doesn't get beat like this.
Doesn't happen. We'll tell you how little it happens around the corner. TCU at 48. Josh Newton, the transfer from Louisiana Monroe, with the pick 6, the second one today for TCU. And time now for Above and Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. It's the TCU defense today.
They were flying a couple weeks ago. That's Quinn Ewers in Texas. Right, they throttled them, their offense anyhow, less than 200 yards. But tonight it's the takeaways. It's the touchdowns after those takeaways for Joe Gillespie. Baylor humbled him a little bit last week. 500 yards of offense, went up and down the field against Joe's crew. He said it. He said it to Joe Klatt about a month ago. He says, I feel my defense coming. A lot of moving pieces, so many new parts, totally new scheme. Feel them coming. A week ago was a step back. Today is yet 2 steps forward.
If you missed some of those defensive plays, here they are.
Just aggressive. Like, this is a crew whose linebackers lead the team in tackles for loss, not the defensive line. Put their heels at 5 and they come downhill at you. There was a young, inexperienced quarterback throwing the first interception for 6. But they're just in your face. I mean, look at all of these highlights, right? They're constantly hitting you. They're getting to the football. And when that ball is up in the air, it's going the other way. And it feels like, remember that game in Manhattan we had earlier this year?
Kent State, Oklahoma State.
Where all it was purple?
Yep.
Feels the same way for these 2 young quarterbacks. First Deckers, and now for Rocco Becht.
Hoffer just threw away a TCU player. Norton is hurt. Downstairs, Allison.
Well, it is a shoulder injury for Hunter Deckers that it's taken him out of this game. They were hopeful he would be available after he came out of the locker room, but after testing it out, throwing it around a little bit, he's unable to finish the game.
Allison, thank you. That is not good news for Hunter Deckers, who has thrown himself at this season, and the dice have not come up his way a whole lot. Very talented young man who will be done for the day and for the season. This is Silas, and he's tripped up in the backfield. A couple of yards maybe diving forward. It's third down coming up.
And I think if you look back at that Kansas State, follow us against Kansas, Tim Brando and crew. We left that building a while. That was one of the biggest statements in the conference this season as they throttled Mike Gundy and did something to him not done much before. You can make a case here tonight for what Sonny and TCU and this defense have done, a very similar story.
The fourth quarter will tell you exactly how often Matt Campbell and Iowa State there's a flag down. The fourth quarter is not going to happen just yet.
Offside, number 12 defense, entering the zone and causing a reaction. 5-yard penalty results in a first down. Clock operator, please put 1 second on the clock.
The 1 second remaining.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Those folks who wanted a statement from TCU, look, again, you talked about it. Iowa State doesn't lose like this. It doesn't happen. They have 6 losses this year by 1 score. That's not going to happen today. Oh, Horned Frogs, number 4, looking stellar. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Geico. TCU up huge, 55 points on the board for the Horned Frogs in their regular season finale, and Eli Sanders breaks away for Iowa State. He's down at the 21. That was Obi Izor with the tackle. 43-yard run for Sanders, the freshman from California.
A couple nice runs for him today. Breaking tackles. Excited about Silas and Sanders. Last year coming into the program, trying to fill the enormous void of Breece Hall. Those better outputs of the year.
You think back to David Montgomery as well. Before Breece Hall, this has been a very sturdy running game. So we told you it is very rare that Iowa State gets blown out like this. It's the most points they've given up in 7 seasons. Wow, most under Matt Campbell, certainly. They will reset. I mean, this team, which went to the Big 12 title game just 2 years ago in the odd COVID season, young players on his roster. This is a run for Silas, who breaks away from a tackle and scores. Touchdown for Deion Silas for Iowa State.
Well, the big runs have come in this occasion, just running through contact, something that you have got to do. There are times you can block guys up, and especially downfield. Look at that, an excellent job by the Cyclones down the field, but it's breaking that initial tackle there by the 5'8" Silas. Powerful back, and a pretty good 1-2 punch there from Sanders and Silas to put 6 on the board.
Last touchdown for Deion Silas before today was game 3 against the Ohio Bobcats. Iowa State back on the board. TCU on its way to 12-0. The Sweet 16, a pretty improbable run of the Sweet 16. Last night they beat #1 North Carolina, and TJ Otzelberger, a couple seasons in now with Iowa State. You've got Caleb Grill putting up 31 on 11 for 15 shooting. We've seen some wild rides already this college basketball season, and this is a program that is on the rise. Football Cyclones just put it into the end zone with a Silas touchdown. Deion Silas. Keegan Shackford, freshman kicker to boot it away. Trent Battle back deep. And off the bounce, it is Battle. And he churns to the 30-yard line. Looks like Max Duggan is going to be done. Your evaluation of him today?
Well, it's what he's done all year. In just some of the bigger moments, which happened to be in the first half, and this one on 4th down got the party started. I think after the emotion of a week ago, it was imperative that the Horned Frogs start fast, and boy, did they ever. And you'll hear so many receivers say the same thing, Jason. Just give me a chance. Just give me an opportunity. And you can see the 57-mile-an-hour fastball, the rocket shot right there. And it didn't matter if it was Spivey or Williams or really, and it was the same case last week in crunch time at Baylor, just elevate everybody around you.
It's now Chandler Morris in at quarterback, and he is part of this story for TCU this year. He was the starting quarterback. He won the job out of camp and then got hurt in the Colorado game, and then Max Duggan took over and hasn't given it back.
And you watch practice, the kid can flat out spin it. I mean, Sonny and Garrett Riley said the same thing to us. Like, yeah, you could see if you watch practice why he won the job in the spring and fall. Plays with great anticipation. He's got tremendous accuracy on the practice field. He may be a better practice player than Max Duggan, but what Max does on a football field in full pads, that there is the advantage with all the experience Max has.
Bailey on a line drive pass, and he's down about a yard short. I want to ask you, because we saw the 57-mile-an-hour pass. What's the context there? Like, you see 95 with a baseball, right? 57.
Right. Yeah, they do now measure at the combine. They do use those jugs machines at the combine, and anything over 55 has some oomph.
Yep.
Yeah, if you get to 60 plus, the Josh Allens, I think a Mahomes is going to be around there, but anytime you see north of 55 would probably equate to like north of 92 or 3 as a fastball. It is just different.
Got to snap it in 5 here for TCU. And they do. It's a run, a yard to get, and it's not going to be there for Imani Bailey. Isaiah Lee with the stop for Iowa State.
We're seeing TCU unload and put a lot of backups in, which is appropriately so. If Sonny Dykes could do one thing, it would be to run this final 11:54 as quick as possible and get themselves ready for either Texas or Kansas State, which will follow us with Kansas tonight. One of those two who they've obviously beaten already this year in different ways. Come back against K-State. Really, their defense handled Texas. That's going to get some opportunities.
We'll see how much purple is in the Big 12 title game coming up after our game. Kansas State with a win will face TCU, which looks like it will be unbeaten through the regular season. A lot of smiles just off Sundance Square. TCU in a big way right now, and we'll see if it's Kansas State or Texas that the Horned Frogs will face. Interesting either way. Kansas State with a win tonight will be in the Big 12 title game.
And I think all of these three foes that are left can all play when they're on excellent defense. Texas's defense has come to life the last month in particular.
TCU fans and Kansas State fans will recall that Kansas State had Adrian Martinez get hurt very early in the Kansas State TCU game. He came out, Will Howard came in, he got hurt as well in that game, and that was the big comeback from 18 down in the first half. A couple of TCU people have mentioned this to us. They've been in just about every type of game this year. They've been in every type of deficit, certainly. Sanders down that alley again, and another gash play, similar looking to his big run a moment ago.
Yeah, and a nice job there by Tyler Miller, the big left tackle, 6'8". When they've had this run, most of them have been on the backside cutoff. A nice job there by Tyler, just a redshirt sophomore, 6'8", 315. And that's some of the story between these two programs. TCU is loaded with seniors. TCU is basically Iowa State last year. I mean, loaded with seniors across the board. was Iowa State a year ago as they throttled TCU the last game of the season. And TCU's age and strength paying dividends tonight.
Silas on the run. I mean, there's not a whole lot of institutional knowledge left over from 2017 when Iowa State beat 2 top 10 teams, including TCU. And TCU fans remember that was the first loss 5 years ago for that Horned Frogs team.
Yep.
Iowa State that year also beat Oklahoma in one of the most improbable victories the past decade in college football. And Matt Campbell said that was a game that really flipped the program. Knoll will throw. Incomplete. He wanted Rocco back. And I will say Anthony would have been out of his chair watching this game, screaming if that was completed.
Anthony said about his son, just a grinder, man, just loves this sport, loves this game, obviously grew up with it. A dad, super successful, and Gillespie knows that having a true freshman in there is advantage to TCU tonight as they knock Deckers out. But Beck has shown himself well, and this will be valuable experience for him moving forward.
Rolling to the right, signaling to the receivers, to the sideline, and incomplete. That was McQuinn on the coverage. 4th down for Iowa State. It looks like they're going to go ahead and punt.
Safe, safe, safe. Keep defense on the field.
TCU coming off just the second ever 1-point win for a top 4 college football playoff team. Didn't want to play a close one today, and that's nice punt coverage by Iowa State. 9 and change to go in Fort Worth. A lot of talons out tonight. 55-14, the Horned Frogs big. You're up to the moment college football playoff rankings. Georgia got by Georgia Tech, trailed early, was up 3 at the half. Michigan, obviously, with the massive win over Ohio State. What's your headline right now?
Chaos. I think we may be in store for a 2-loss team. The first time ever making the playoff.
We'll see what USC does later tonight as well. We'll see the Trojans in the Pac-12 title game with maybe an Oregon team that's going to take another loss. Is Michigan the #1 seed in your mind?
That is an impressive win today. I mean, if you would have told me before kick somebody in that game was going to win by 21, I would have bet the farm. At home, after the loss a year ago, it would be Ohio State on perfect weather conditions. Joel and Gus and Tom Rinaldi had a beautiful day in Columbus, and Michigan just swamped them in the second half.
It's a run, and it's Imani Bailey just getting tripped up at the 25 by Freeler. Allison downstairs, what do you have?
Well, Brock mentioned chaos, right, with the playoffs here. Do you think there's a path if TCU were to fall next week in the Big 12 championship game? Could they still get in the top 4?
I think so. I mean, 5 wins over ranked opponents. This tonight, this statement for Sonny Dykes. I mean, what happens around them? What does it all look like? What does the game look like? I mean, there are so many variables there, but I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility.
No, not with the way Michigan beat Ohio State today. This throw on the run from Morris. Look, if USC were to lose either tonight or next week, you end up with a bunch of 2-loss teams. You could have a pocket of 4 1-loss or 0-loss teams, and at that point, you kind of, unless LSU beats Georgia, you kind of have to include all of them, don't you?
Well, I mean, with Clemson losing today, with Ohio State losing by 21, and yes, I think Gary Riley, after he's done calling plays here, will go back and watch his big brother USC tonight.
Down goes Battle, twirled around by Orange. There is a marker down.
Personal foul, face mask, number 95, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, that's not the knock-knock joke involving Orange that you'd like to be a part of.
No, that's the big true freshman, Dominic Orange, about 350 bills, just trying to stick anything out there. Slow down TCU, been hard to do over the course of this game.
Isn't it amazing, though, how things have changed even just today with Clemson going down and with Oregon possibly going down. They were driving against Oregon State. This is on target for Nowell.
Yeah, I think many people felt, and I was listening to Urban Meyer this morning on Big Noon Kickoff say, Georgia, Ohio State, just the number of athletes, just their unblemished record this year, the number of 4 stars and 5 stars and everything else. I think on paper, Jason, Urban was right that you looked at it and say, yeah, these are probably the top 2, and then they get beat by 3 scores in their own building.
Yep.
And this team, I think with Sonny Dykes, so many of the folks that watch him, so many close calls, a play here, a play there. Tonight has been one heck of a statement.
Imani Bailey, first down. It's a little bit like Cincinnati last year, which ended up doing everything everybody asked for. Obviously, TCU, a Power 5 team, but Kansas State is next. Coming up next right here on Fox. 120th meeting in the Sunflowers Showdown. Next on Fox and the Fox Sports app. You try and size that game up, and Deuce Vaughn has been just so awesome in purple for Kansas State, but what do you think?
Yeah, well, and Will Howard, like Max Duggan, Will Howard gets kind of thrust into it. Max did early in week 1 of this season, but Will Howard has made that team look entirely different with Colin Klein calling plays.
Gunnar Henderson finds some space and runs up and down the field for what seemed like an eternity for a couple of yards.
But then Daniels is back at Kansas. Now got a couple weeks of playing time under his belt. They're dangerous.
And they know Lance Leipold's going to be there for a long time. Got the extension, and we'll see who Max Duggan plays in that Big 12 title game. It all depends on the game that's following us. Kansas State.
A few Longhorns fans will be watching that one tonight too.
I think you're right. Battle for freshman. Gets wide and gets maybe half a yard. Gary Vaughn was in there on the tackle. All right, Iowa State. Where do they go from here? This is a snake bit season. We know that. This is not the way you want to end a year. Where is Iowa State?
Well, they're going to return a lot of people. They will lose Will McDonald, Orion Vance, and Anthony Johnson. So for Matt Campbell, at all 3 levels of his defense, you could argue they lose the best player. Outside of that, everybody else returns. A secondary that has been one of the fastest for them this year, who's played very well. Tonight, notwithstanding, they will return a ton of starters. Equally on offense, they will lose Hutchinson, but have just about everybody else back.
Morris into the slide.
So for a program that is all about development, and I asked Matt Campbell, I said, you've only got 2 FBS transfers. TCU has 20. Is the portal going to be active? Because Sonny Dykes used it in a big-time way here. Between junior college transfers, FBS transfers, and Matt said, that's just not really in my DNA. I am about developing 18-year-olds with John Haycock and our crew of developing 18-year-olds and turning them into seniors and grown men on and off the field. But that will be a legitimate question that they will evaluate of how much talent, how close are they in the developmental game versus talent they've got to bring through the door.
Morris to throw on 4th down. He loads up, and that's just a dart. There's the arm talent. It's a first down for Jared Wiley, the former quarterback.
Yeah, this youngster can spin it. I mean, there was a reason he was 5-star out of high school. There's a reason that he won this job. That's a tight spiral. Kind of a little Spencer Rattler to that delivery too, just clean. What's an intriguing number is that Chandler is actually older than Max Duggan.
It's wild how this
is. He's a
gone.
redshirt freshman. And he's older than Max Duggan on paper.
Sonny Dykes said, I've been a lot of places where we've had a lot of pretty quarterbacks in terms of delivery and the mechanics and everything just going as planned. And Max Duggan has not been that guy. It's not all pretty and it's not beautiful on tape or whatever it might be, but he wins, man.
Well, he made a good point. He said, the hardest position to evaluate is running back because you can't hit him. In training camp, you don't have live tackling anymore. And he said, Max has been a revelation for me as a coach in evaluating quarterbacks now, moving forward, because, in shorts and a T-shirt at the combine or 7-on-7 drills, he doesn't win. Jalen Morris wins. But put the pads on, and William Wallace comes to life.
You feel him leading the troops?
7 foot tall.
Sneaky film buff. Brock Ewart. Timeout TCU.
Media timeout.
TCU driving when we come back. 2014 is bittersweet for TCU fans because they put that big win on the board against Iowa State at the end of the year, and they looked like they were going to go to the first college football playoff. It didn't happen for them. And now TCU fans, you have to imagine, are like, just get by this game. The 55 number, maybe if you could change that and put up even like one more point so it doesn't look the same. But if they win out, they're going to the college football playoff, and there's no question.
Yep, they control their destiny.
Yeah.
And that'll be 60 minutes next week. And, one of the bonuses today with just this game, in some ways, and I know Sonny's probably going to address this, they didn't have to play Quentin Johnson today. Right? They could keep him on ice. He was emergency, break glass if they needed him. They did not today. Tay Barber, Darius Davis, very few reps as well. So an opportunity with some of your speed. It has to be a difference maker in that title game. Get a good rest tonight.
Imani Bailey keeps his feet. It's 11 separate receivers who caught a ball tonight for TCU, to your point, and Tay Barber is not one of them.
Nope. Now defensively, in the loss of Hodges, the linebacker who did not return in the second half, will be worth watching. But outside of that, they should be pretty much a full house. Pretty rested after this game, and one of their best just total team efforts in all three phases tonight.
On 3rd and goal, Morris throws, end zone for another touchdown for TCU, and Jordan Hudson having a career night. That's number 2 for him.
That word I used, anticipation. You're going to see this route break open, but watch when Morris throws this. There's a lot of clutter, and he throws him open. Does he, the true freshman Hudson right there. Second touchdown of the season. Anticipation and accuracy. Those are the two gifts of Chandler Morris. He showed him on that drive.
That foghorn has gone off quite a bit.
Is that what that noise is?
It is. It's the omnipresent foghorn. Hope it doesn't affect the aquatic life. We take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, Unfazed, sponsored by Pacific Life, celebrating and creating financial security for more than 150 years.
This felt like last week, but it was 59 minutes ago. And the play clock, that was a 4th down conversion, a big run, and truly, it was the early rounds where it was an onslaught of purple. Explosive plays offensively, that pick 6 defensively, and then it just went from bad to worse for Iowa State. Couple turnovers, TCU turns into points right there. The 3rd touchdown pass of the night for Max Duggan. Here's the 2nd pick 6. First time that's happened since 2009 for TCU. And as I said, man, in every single phase of it, championship teams play complementary football.
How would you feel if Max Duggan wasn't invited to New York for the Heisman ceremony?
I would turn in my Heisman vote.
Really?
I don't know. That sounded good.
That's not binding. You like that vote, though, don't you, buddy? Look, he deserves to be there.
He does.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, not even. It's just not even close. And Sonny made that case this week in his press conferences. He'll make it again. He'll have all the lead up to the Big 12 title game, and ultimately the stage next week to try to A, win a Big 12 championship, B, get yourself to a playoff, and then C, individually, get Max Duggan to New York City, where based on Caleb Williams tonight, it's not just getting him there. He throws another 3-4 touchdowns next week. I mean, it's going to be a legitimate debate of who wins that hardware.
It'll be a fascinating final couple of weeks and bowl season. Noel on the return coming up after our game. Be sure to stay with us for Coca-Cola College Football Extra. A lot going on. Oregon State came down to the wire. You know, TCU has had this marvelous season, and there's something mystical about the Horned Frogs. We talked about the Hypnotoad and all this. I was reading this week, TCU, the second choice for the team, the nickname, was the Cacti. It's such a sedentary plant, and the Horned Frog just sounds so menacing when you have a season like this.
Did not get to that in my game notes.
They were named the Horned Frogs because the field back in the day was covered by these lizards sometimes. They'd have to like clean them off in order to play football. That's how they became the Horned Frogs. And here is your college football playoff ranking update. Wow. Circle some losses.
Yeah. And by the way, that A&M, LSU tonight, and LSU's down 7 right now. Sneaky feeling about that one. It's going to be, yeah, because everybody's done. They've written Jimbo off. It's a disaster. It's a mess. Can't play. Can't do anything. Outdoor games are weird, man.
I know you're going to be watching one of them specifically tonight, and a couple. It's going to be a multi-screen situation the next couple of weeks. We will be in Las Vegas for the Pac-12 title game, and that's going to be huge. You would imagine if USC wins tonight, it's going to be huge anyway. What a season, though. I mean, as you sit back and reflect, like Sonny Dykes told us he did for the first time, really, this past Tuesday. He finally sat in his chair and thought backward. And he said he's never gone this long in a season without doing that.
Right? Because he's had so much fun. I mean, this is the players have taken over this team, and he knows it, and he's just steering it. Max Duggan, D. Winters, offense, defense, Buddy Griffin-Kell. I mean, they've taken over the locker room and taken over this ride, and that's what you want as a coach.
Griffin-Kell is everybody's buddy here in Fort Worth right now. Double clutch and throw, that's incomplete.
But how about this for college football, too, by the way? And we'll see with SC Notre Dame tonight.
Yep.
I mean, this isn't Clemson. This isn't Alabama. We'll see about Ohio State. There's going to be some new blood. And I think it's healthy for college football, frankly.
Well, the story's both TCU and then Kansas and Kansas State in separate spots right now in the Big 12 standings, but similarly upward trajectory type seasons. And Kansas State kind of came out of nowhere, too.
Yes. And this TCU team picked preseason 7th in this Big 12.
Sonny Dykes told us, said everywhere else I've been, we got picked last, so 7th's an improvement. And this will be short of the line to gain. TCU will take over, and Iowa State gets the run for Bo Hoberly after the catch there, just about a yard short. Well, just as we all expected, as the season started, TCU finishes the regular season undefeated.
Coach of the year?
Gotta be. Or I will turn in my vote. But think about it. How many teams that lose a quarterback in game 1 end up with the other guy at the helm, let alone that, just finishing undefeated anyway? This is not exactly the postcard that you want to finish on, but TCU, gritty, gutty, tough, falls on the ball and takes win number 12 with them. The Horned Frogs are going undefeated into the Big 12 championship game next week.
Different scene than a week ago.
It's a more casual finish.
Look at that.
Matt Campbell, who recruited Max Duggan, has a moment with that young man, and Max Duggan told us he has very substantial reverence for the way Matt Campbell handled his recruiting. Allison downstairs with Max.
Well, Max, this team has found different ways to win all season. Tonight you cap off a perfect season with a dominant victory. How were you guys able to play such a complete game?
Yeah, I think guys just went out there, played confident, did their job, had fun, just cut it loose. I think that was the biggest thing. Play in front of the crowd, one last time for this season. It was a lot of fun.
How would you describe the emotions for you tonight, knowing this is your last game here?
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure yet exactly what I'm doing yet, but there is a lot of emotion for your last game, in front of this crowd, depending on what's going on. But yeah, it was fun to get a win, last time this year.
How special has this season been for you after everything you've been through here at TCU? I know how much this university means to you. What has it meant to be able to lead them to a perfect regular season?
Yeah, the school has been, had our backs, and through the ups and downs, there's been a lot of eventful memories, through kind of the lows. But being here 12-0 at TCU is just something that you'll remember forever, and glad to do it here.
A lot of times when the wins mount, the pressure does too. How has this team kept the same approach week in and week out?
It's just the culture that, Coach Dykes has brought in. Play the next play, do your job, play for the guys around you, be confident. I think that's what's helped with us.
Thoughts on the keys going into this Big 12 championship game?
Yeah, we're going to find out who we got to play, but we're excited. We're going to play, a good opponent, depending on who that is. But, we got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be a good one on next Saturday.
Good luck. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
And he still can't cut his hair because he hasn't touched it since the beginning of the season, and his team hasn't lost.
And he just left the door open, maybe just a little bit about next season.
How about that kid and the whole story that he has become? It's been a fun regular season, Brock. Man, oh man, we will see if TCU faces Texas or Kansas State coming up in a little while in the Sunflower Showdown. For our entire wonderful crew, for Allison Williams, Brock Hewitt, I'm Jason Benetti. Thanks to all of the families who donated all of our crew members to us for this holiday weekend to bring television to you. Coca-Cola College Football Extra, Emmanuel Acho and the guys right after these messages.